Check 1, 2. This is the dumbest intro that we're ever gonna do, and I really hope we cut it. But I feel like I just set myself up for some like bad, like post-credit like bull cut.
Blumenthal. Trophy system wrecked.
Securing Alpha.
So I'm watching YouTube.
Yeah.
After playing Call of Duty this weekend. I like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 a lot. And YouTube seems to think it's real bad. Like the worst Call of Duty that they've ever seen. So I'm going through this video point by point and they're like, long time to kill. Well, I love it. Like operator focus with these like barbed wire they can't get through because of defensive operators. I love it. Like body armor, all right, I'll give them that. Spawn flipping, I'll give them that. But like almost everything else about this game, like objective-based modes, having to think or wait for backup before you run into a room, like not being able to just mow through 5 guys because of all the health. I like it, and I like it. Like these are all the things that are a small step away from Call of Duty that I think people who haven't played Call of Duty for a long time like want to see in this game. So I don't know, like who's this game for? Because like traditional COD guys don't seem to like that.
I don't know. I mean, like I told you, I think like when we were first playing, I was like really upset. I was like, man, this is pissing me off because of like the spawns are bad. They're still kind of bad, especially if you play TDM.
Yeah,
I think once I gravitated away from TDM and started playing the actual modes, the barbed wire of Torque and the Torque shield stuff, I started to use that instead of actually being upset about it. And that's when the specialist really started to resonate. And I was like, cool, like this makes sense. Like all of these different specialist abilities, they make sense because, you know, if you're in a hard point, you know, the barbed wire is good, the shield's good, you know, cluster grenade becomes like really good. I mean, cluster grenade's good already because you don't get a frag grenade till like level 28, but especially given in those settings, like they all just start to shine. And the time to kill is actually cool to me. Like I think it's better. It's not like you live that much longer. It's like, it feels like a couple more seconds, but that's a lot in COD time, right? So people will get used to it. I still saw people shredding people. If you're getting headshots, you're still dying fast. So I don't know, I like it a lot.
Be advised, hostile TAC deploy beacon active. Black Ops are contesting A. Hostile UAV circling. All zones infiltrated. We're pulled ahead.
And it's interesting because I think you said you played a bunch of team deathmatch and that's when it didn't make sense for you. But once you started playing objective modes, that's when it made sense. And I think a lot of Call of Duty players, I don't know, like I think they're so comfortable with the idea of just not having to think at that level and just being able to run in and being good with their weapon control and just dropping dudes or like flanking really quickly. That's what makes them happy. And this game is throwing a wider net, which like I get, I understand why sometimes that upsets people. I think like a lot of games when they throw a wider net might turn off their core audience. It's competing in a time of hero shooters, which is interesting because hero shooters might be on the way out because of Battle Royale, but this game is also gonna try and do Battle Royale next month. So like where does this game sit in your mind? Like what is this game?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see where it ends up. I mean, we've only been able to play your traditional kind of multiplayer Call of Duty, right? But as you mentioned, Blackout will be in beta next month. We'll get to see what that looks like. I honestly think that Call of Duty, maybe even Battlefield, have the best shot at potentially being the next big battle royale outside of like PUBG and Fortnite, just because, you know, Call of Duty has such a big player base that then, you know, if they even gravitate towards that Blackout battle royale mode, that's already like a success, right? Granted, maybe that's at the cost of campaign, which I don't know. I've never really cared about campaign, but you know, some people are upset about that. We'll have to see if it brings new COD players in. I mean, COD's such a huge giant. Everyone like wants to, you know, downplay it and say like, oh, it's just another COD game. Like, screw COD, blah, blah, blah. But it sells, right? And that just means that there are a lot of players out there. And that's why I think Blackout's gonna potentially be successful, just because that player base is there.
It's interesting being a franchise game. I don't know, like I'm almost like on a Madden level where people just come in and buy it every year. Again, they're risking their base by making changes. I mean, given like anytime any game makes changes, people get upset because they like what's comfortable.
He's gone. Ruined down.
I'm really curious what's going to be the big shooter this year outside of Fortnite. It feels like Battlefield has not really evolved much in years, and it feels like Black Ops is trying to take small baby steps away from the Black Ops formula, and it also just has this complete package. Again, you know, like battle royale, objective-based, slower combat, and I like, in my words, not yours, but like I think raids. I think that like zombies kind of is almost a raid in of itself.
Well, it's definitely their like answer to PvE, right? Or something where it's a cooperative experience where players get to fight against an AI, or like some type of it's another thing to help replace campaign, right? So, and there's a huge fan base for the zombies, and I think it's cool that they're gonna have like, what, 3 different types like right off the bat in a way, so interested to see. I've never been a big zombies guys, but I know that there's definitely a demographic for that are gonna be hungry and ready to play that. I'm optimistic. I'm hoping to have something else to play other than Fortnite as a shooter, as you mentioned, at least in that battle royale setting, because you know I like COD multiplayer. So like having another like layer like a battle royale could be interesting, but it's really hard to say because we've only seen like little snippets of that battle royale through that like one trailer, and it's really hard to tell what that looks like or how that's gonna play.
And I think this game could get players like me back in Call of Duty as that kind of comfort game. It's, you know what you're getting every night. You can go in and you can knock out whatever you want to knock out that night. And the hero focus is really fun now because it's weird to say this, but I can have a main. I really like Nomad. I was having a really good time with his mesh mines and the dog attack.
Enemies are contesting A.
And just messing with the other team's head. And also, you know, again, like the defensive operators, like I love playing defensively. I picked up the light machine gun, and you know, SMGs were kind of dominant in this beta. I couldn't quite hang on the front line, but I could play as an old man, and you know, like you're saying, we're getting older, and you can kind of sit in the back with the right gadgets and the right score streaks and have a big impact on the game, and like let the young kids do their like SMG jumpy slidey stuff up front of the objectives.
Hostile UAV circling. Multiple hostile UAVs operating. Hardpoint is secure.
Black Ops 4 kind of has me hooked in a way that, as a lapsed Call of Duty player, I'm very interested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a similar boat. I mean, Call of Duty has always been a game that I gravitate to if my friends play. And I was playing the beta with a few of my old Call of Duty friends, and you know, we all kind of felt the same way at first, especially playing like Team Deathmatch, but then as we played it some more, and then as we swapped over to playing like, you know, Control, so that was fun, and my friend had fun, and like, for us, it's like, okay, if a couple of us buy it, then we're probably all gonna buy it. So curious to see what Blackout looks like once we play that, to get a better feel for that. Beta again this weekend, gonna check that out obviously, because I think hopefully progression sticks and we can just continue to level, try out more operator mods on the guns, which, you know, I think you might have almost got to 1, I got to like 2, so and there's more that we can get to, so it's cool to see that you can also progress a gun to the highest level because there's actually something potentially worthwhile getting there. If COD wasn't already such a dominant force, I would say it's making a good return in my opinion, but we'll see, you know. I'm optimistic though, very optimistic.
Hey Tay, I'm watching
What up?
YouTube. Let's talk about COD.
God, I really I can't take him seriously. I can't take him seriously.
How about even quicker? Just like, hey Tay, let's talk about COD.